we thought we're going to kind of just roll through different things to keep in mind when you're thinking of food and cooking for yourself, and what's something easy and reasonable that I can actually do. And really the whole, I guess the crux of the issue is, can I choose a better option, right? I mean, there's always a million options to put into your body so that you don't feel hungry. But one of the priorities is to find something that's maybe perhaps a better option that works better in your body and allows your body to then function smoothly. So to kind of get started in that vein, and again, everyone knows that eating vegetables is a good thing, right? And eating, maybe healthy proteins is a good thing. If you look at something like this, a lot of times the package is very deceiving, because if you look at the picture, you think, oh, okay, that's not bad. I'm getting a little bit of pasta and some zucchini and some carrots and some fresh vegetables with my pasta. But one thing I would like to encourage you to try and do is get in the habit of looking at the ingredient list. Because if you take a look at this ingredient list, I'm going to pass it around, you will see a list of words that I cannot even pronounce. So what is that telling you? That tells you that the bulk of the ingredients in this food is chemicals, and things that really, to be quite honest, your body is not going to be able to use to make new cells to function well so that you can feel good. So on an ingredient label, they'll have the item that is most prominent listed first and then go in descending order. So if you notice, when I pass this around, the zucchini, the carrots, and the spinach that I talked about that look like they would be good, see where you can find them on this list and how much there actually is in that package. And here's another one as an example. This is, it looks great, right? I'm gonna be eating pasta with chicken and broccoli. Looks like a great option. But again, if I look at the ingredient list and see all of these words, disodium phosphate, sodium citrate, xanthium gum, Gower gum, all of these words, I don't even know what they are. They're not usable things for your body. And then if it says, after the rest of this list is 2% or less of the product, you'll notice that the chicken and the broccoli, they're the very last ingredients. So eating this, you're not really getting what this picture would have you think you're eating. So that's kind of just something to put in mind. So that is, having said that, what can we do that can be better, as a better option, if we know we want to get some good stuff into our body? Key thing first is to look at ingredients if you're buying packaged foods. Something like this is, the ingredients are literally strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, and raspberries. So that clearly is that's real food that you would be eating. Now, we all know that we'd like to have our snacks and our cravings for chips and stuff here and there. I just wanted to bring this because this is a good alternative for Doritos. It's Benitos. It's actually made with beans, and many of you have heard us talk about the benefit of eating fiber. Beans and fiber in general are really great for your body to kind of help clear out your blood and keep your body working well. So this, if you really want to go for the Doritos and stuff, this is a great option. I brought this because I wanted to show you this brand in particular.
And I actually want to jump in for a second here. I'm gonna start cooking right now. We're actually gonna cook a pasta dinner. From the guys that I've talked to in this room, everyone seems to love pasta. I do too. So we're gonna show you how to make pasta and actually make it healthy for you, adding your fiber, adding your vegetables and so forth. So that's what I'm starting over here. The water's boiling. Cooking pasta is very easy. Just put it in, follow the box. We always throw a little salt into the water first before we cook our pasta. It's an old Italian trick, I believe. So I'll be jumping in and out, telling you what I'm doing while I'm cooking the pasta in the background, okay? And the gravy.
All right, and one more thing about food quality and like what you're actually putting into your body to think about. So everyone knows what this is, right? It looks like a full loaf of bread. So very filling, right? I mean, there is a certain amount of volume that can fit in your stomach at any given time. In general, they say your stomach is the size of your fist. I don't know about you, but I tend to eat a lot more than my fist for a meal, so at least 2 fists or maybe 4 fists. But either way, if I were to eat a couple of sandwiches, that's gonna fill up that space pretty quickly, right, using this bread. But what am I actually putting in my body? I want to show you something and see what I can do with this loaf of bread. if I squish it down, I know it's kind of not, there's air in it, but if you squish it down, what you're actually eating is not much actual ingredients. You really essentially paid for a lot of expensive air. So you put a lot of stuff into your body, perhaps if you were eating pieces and pieces of bread, but it's not stuff that your body can use. So kind of one way to think about it is it's like expensive air or expensive chemicalized food-like substance. So just to keep in mind. Now, so if we want to get to the real food, we want to show you some ways to make it easy so it's not overwhelming, and ways that you can get all of the really key ingredients into one simple meal. So starting off with breakfast, something that is a favorite in our house and is very easy is to make an egg burrito. So these, again, soft shell tacos you can buy, and I will show you multiple uses for this, but one flour tortilla shell. You can scramble up a couple of eggs. I wasn't going to do it tonight, but does anyone know how to scramble eggs? Yeah. Crack some eggs, use a fork, put it in a frying pan for a couple minutes and push it around. It cooks up in literally
60 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, a couple minutes tops, 2 minutes, 3 minutes tops. So if you lay your egg shell or your soft shell taco down, put your scrambled eggs on top, and then again, kind of adding some of the key ingredients, some of that fiber that's so good. You can buy literally, I mean, this is the organic brand, so it costs $1, but you don't even need to go organic if it's not a priority for you. Can of beans is about 75 cents. So opening up a can of beans, draining it in a thing, rinsing it with some water, and then taking 3 spoonfuls and layering on top of your eggs. Maybe if you like salsa, put a spoonful of salsa and guacamole if that's your thing. Great way to get good, healthy fats in. Roll it up, and within less than 10 minutes, you can have a really good breakfast burrito that has all of these key ingredients: the protein, the fiber, a little bit of vegetables with your salsa. It's got some really good stuff that now your body's like, holy cow, I can start my day with things that it can use, right? So that's just a quick and easy kind of way to make a breakfast as an option. I bought cheese here too. A lot of times people like to put some cheese on their eggs or their burrito.
And our kids absolutely love this, and they go back for seconds and sometimes third, depending on how big of shells we buy for them. So
yeah, our kids eat a lot. And then to add on to that, the nice universal thing, we're going to show you about chicken. Mike, why don't I have you talk?
Chicken is the easiest thing in the world. I know I've spoke to a few of you about protein sources, the difference between complete and efficient proteins and so forth. Chicken's one of the best protein sources you can eat. Very, very simple to cook. Dinner, lunch, even breakfast, whatever you want. I'll tell you what I do. You just take a chicken breast right out of the package. Just add a little salt.
You washed your hands. I'm going to wash mine.
I did wash my hands. A little pepper. I always go to garlic powder. Garlic's a great, seasoning, plus it's extremely healthy for you. And then I know I have onion powder too. So that's my go-to seasoning there. So salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. Just tastes fantastic. I do both sides of it raw. You just put it on a baking dish. You literally set the oven to 350, preheat it, shove it in there, 20 minutes per side, 20 minutes, flip, 20 minutes, you're done. You can make a whole tray of this. You have chicken for the whole week. You can, you can eat it raw, or not raw, but you can eat it just as a chicken breast, cut it up with barbecue sauce, whatever your flavor is. The next day you can slice them up and make fajitas out of them, or tacos, chicken tacos out of them. A million different ways. We put it in soup, even chicken chili. So it's the easiest thing in the world to make. It's actually pretty good, and you can even flavor it up with some condiments. And it's very, very simple, very, very healthy for you. Your body needs it. You should be eating about a pound-sized portion of this 3 times a day, so of efficient protein. And the efficient proteins, again, are eggs, chicken, meat, fish, and then other types of seafoods. So those are your main sources of protein, where you want to focus on, which is best for the body, the least amount of energy for the body to process, and the least amount of waste that's produced in the in the body by eating this. So that's how simple chicken is.
Yeah, so to kind of get back, I know, I've talked to some of you about this, Mike has talked to some people, but it's worth reiterating why we keep talking about the impact of eating protein sources that is both efficient and complete. And now I want first of all to say that we are Switzerland. If you want to be vegan, if you want to eat only steak, it is totally up to you. And you know, some people really find that they can thrive on an Atkins type diet, which is predominantly fat and protein, and other people are like, I prefer to be vegan. I think that's great. You have to find what works best for you. Having said that, it's great to have an understanding of how these things actually work in your body. So for example, when we talk about protein sources that are complete and efficient, the reason you would want to consider that is twofold. Complete means that it has all of the amino acids that are necessary for your body to make new cells. So if you stop and think about this, every single thing in your body is made up of cells. And literally your cells make your brain, which makes your thoughts, which makes your feelings. So literally your cells indirectly impact the way you feel. So why do we want to have good quality cells made? Well, because then you can function more easily, more efficiently, and again, feel better in everything that you do. So having those amino acids that are necessary is key. Now your body is super smart. If you think of the amino acids are like the letters in the alphabet. There are certain amino acids that are called essential that you have to get from your food. Your body can't make on its own. Those are like the vowels. So I can't make a word without a vowel, right? I can give you a string of letters, but if there's no vowel, it's not going to make much sense. You're not going to be able to use it. But if I give you words including vowels, you can use it and be like, oh, got it. Information is received. I get it. Message understood. So why do we want protein sources that are also efficient? Your body is super smart. And your body, if you eat, let's say you eat rice and you eat beans, as both of those have protein, and you can even get all of the complete amino acids. So you can get all of your vowels that you will need to make each type of cell. But your body is going to have to do a lot of work to rearrange those to make them into a usable word or into a usable pattern. So let me give you an analogy, and some of you have heard this before, but if I were to, let's say my daughter comes up to me and says, hey mom, I'm hungry. I'm like, okay, great, I'm go in the other room, and I come back and I hand her a turkey sandwich. She can eat the turkey sandwich, and her desire or need for hunger is satisfied very quickly. She is no longer hungry. She feels good. Let's say the next day she comes in and says, hey mom, I'm hungry again. And I go in the other room and I come back and I hand her a bushel of wheat berries and I hand her a grinder and I say, oh, and guess what? There is a wild turkey across the street in the forest preserve. Some of you heard me say that's kind of crazy, right? Can she get a turkey sandwich? Absolutely. She can make that happen. She would have to probably spend hours, maybe days. She can grind the wheat berries. She can make a dough. She can let it rise. She can bake the bread. She can go hunt a turkey, pluck the feathers out, skin it. You get the whole point. She could bake a turkey, carve it up. She has to go through so many more steps in order to get her turkey sandwich so that she's no longer hungry. And each step requires energy to do it, and it leaves a byproduct which is called metabolic waste. So there's leftover garbage, if you will, after each chemical reaction. So if you are someone that does not frequently eat efficient and complete protein, fine, your body can make it happen, but you essentially are putting a huge demand on your body to have a lot of extra energy that's going to be used to just switch around those vowels. And not only that, there's going to be a lot of extra waste, which if it's not removed, will build up and cause problems internally. That's what usually breaks down with physical imbalance and mental imbalances, when you have a toxic load of waste left in your system. So does that make sense? That's kind of the gist of protein. And having protein in regular intervals, I mean, typically the standard, if you will, is 3 palm-sized portions of complete and efficient protein every single day. For some people, that's just not where they're at, and I get it. If you are not there and have no interest in being there, maybe you can add 1 in when you used to have none. Or maybe instead of 1 every once a month, you can have 6 in a month, and that's just going to make it that much easier for your body to get what it needs to work well. Does that make sense?
Hey, let me jump in here too on the pasta. So pound of ground beef right here. I just cut it in half, just buy it at the store. I'm just gonna brown it up right now in the saucepan. This is gonna be our protein source for the pasta today. And like I said, it's one of the efficient proteins, very easy. Just mix it all up, get it browned up, and then we'll take it to the next step.
Smoothies, I don't know if any of you are into smoothies or not, but just a handful of fresh spinach, for example. That's why I brought these frozen berries. Putting some spinach into a blender, maybe a cup or so of frozen berries. I like to add a banana because quite honestly, banana really cuts the flavor of whatever. If you add vegetables, a green, kale, or spinach, a banana kind of really smooths it out and blends it. So a banana. And then, it kind of sounds crazy, but kind of getting back to the beans, the fiber. If you open up and drain a couple of cans of beans, take 3 tablespoons of beans and dump it right into your smoothie mix. Hit blend. Voila, you've got a smoothie that's going to have really good vegetables and fruits and fiber. And then, sounds gross, right? I know, I hear you. You're like, what? Gross beans? You have to try it. Honestly, with the fruit, with the sweetness of the fruit and the sweetness of the banana, it cuts it so it's really, you really don't even notice it. I promise you. Try it. All right. Now, I'm going to show you, so soup is something interesting, because soup is, obviously, as we're moving in Chicago, getting into the colder months of the year, soup is something that naturally has kind of this like calming, restorative food. It's just like a balancing food for a lot of people. And in today's society, we tend to consume significantly less soup than our generations before us did. So especially when you are feeling overwhelmed or when there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress going on in your life, this is one of those things that can be very grounding. I picked beets because beets are a root vegetable. And this is going to sound kind of strange, but if you think about the energy of food, things that are grown below the surface of the earth, so root vegetables, have a naturally grounding effect. So when you feel like, man, my head is literally spinning miles a minute and I can't get away from my thoughts, eating root vegetables is a naturally balancing effect in your body. Just like the opposite, your dark leafy greens and your vegetables that tend to sprout up from the ground almost are a rising energy effect. So they kind of translate energy. If you think of it in terms of the body, they bring energy up more towards your head, whereas the root vegetables kind of dissipate excessive energy, crazy thoughts from the head lower into the body. So kind of think of it like growing up from the ground, rising energy, roots lowering your energy. But I wanted to show you just how easy it is to make like a beet soup, right? So I'm gonna wait till Mike kind of moves over there.
Go ahead.
So this is a can of beets. I'm gonna take my blender here, just open it up. Dump 1 can in, and the second can in.
While everyone's waiting, I'm just going to show you. You notice I just used jar spaghetti sauce, right? There's good kinds and there's bad kinds. You look at the label on this one, it's pretty good. There's actually real food in it instead of words you can't pronounce. So it does cost a little bit more, obviously, but it's worth it. It actually tastes a lot better.
I'm going to get some
and it's that much more healthy for you.
So I'm running this to get hot water, so I can put a little hot water. A little bit of beans. So you saw, I dumped in 2 cans of beans. 2 cans of beets. I drained our beans. I'm gonna scoop some scoops in here. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna dump this whole thing in here because this will probably be more than 1 serving. Dump a can of beans in there and then add some hot water. Let's see if I can get hot water. This is a soup, a beet soup.
Yeah, it's a beet soup.
Oh, I love beet soup. That's good.
The smoothies you can get creative with, though. I mean, some of the stuff. I mean, my favorite used to always be just water, bananas, and celery. Fantastic.
So you see how simple that was. And now I have made a beet soup that is very easy to have with, and you can keep this in your refrigerator and heat up a cup with your lunch. Maybe you'll have salad with a little bit of your cooked chicken that you saved and have some beet soup with it as a side, right? So this is like a very easy way, or dinner. And I like to encourage to bake in batches. For me personally, then you don't have to every single meal pull out all the stuff and do it all over again. Having this for one person would last you for a while, right? A couple of meals. And you can even take some and freeze it and then have it a week or two later or a month later, whatever.
Kale. Everyone know what kale is?
Yes.
This is being chopped up going into the spaghetti sauce. So you have meat, kale right now.
So
what
again,
I've been doing over here.
This is a way to kind of, some people who don't necessarily love vegetables or not, you can experiment with it. Sometimes you can kind of chop it up small pieces, blend it into something like pasta marinara sauce and meat sauce, and you don't even notice you're eating it, right? Mike's also going to add some beans to our sauce. And you, again, it sounds weird to eat beans with your pasta. Once you do it, not that big of a deal. Let's see, what else do I have here to show you? So another quick thing that if you go grocery shopping, let's say you go grocery shopping once a week and you want to be like, okay, I want to do better on snacks. I would highly encourage people, I tell this to all of my friends and clients and everyone, if you can find a container and just at one time chop up some veggies, do it all at once and just have it so that, you know what, I've got 4 classes in a row on Tuesdays and I know I'm going to be hungry. Rather than getting to the point of starving and missing out, I can grab a little baggie, throw some veggies in there, and at least I have a good snack, for something quick and easy. Or at late night, if you're hungry and you're doing your homework and you just need something to munch on rather than grabbing, I don't know, some really sugary thing that has a lot of fake ingredients in it, grab a handful of veggies, possibly. The crunch is good. I brought an apple just because this is a great, better option if you are craving sweets, which is not a bad thing. Your body is craving sweets because it needs energy. So especially on days where you are focusing really hard or on days where you are very active, your body will crave sugar. And it's not doing something to deceive you. It's doing it because it needs that. Your brain functions on glucose. But you can always choose a more nourishing option. So like apple is a great way to get that sugar, that energy that you need, but also get the vitamins and get some other added benefits and fiber that goes with it. So I think that's all in terms of food that we have here in mind. Mike's almost finishing up with our meal, but you can see this whole thing, we've been here for, 20 minutes or so, and we talked about a bunch of different things. So do you guys have any questions? No? Pretty easy, right? Okay.
One of the other tricks we do, did you tell them our...
Yeah.
We always talk about this?
I did,
I'm sorry. I was cooking.
He was busy cooking, yeah. And like I said, try and see if you can use things in multiple recipes. That's what I find is helpful. If I buy a package of taco shells, I'll make egg burritos one day and then make chicken tacos for lunch one day and then maybe even make something else for dinner with all of the same type of ingredients. And then maybe the next week you go on to different stuff, if that seems appealing. So.
Soup, do you serve it hot or cold?
For which one?
Beet soup.
The beet soup, I tried to put hot water in here. It's not super hot, but some people prefer to have it like room temperature. You can have it room temperature or cold. It depends on you. Obviously, as you get into the cold months, it's a more warming effect if you warm it up. But you can always just put it in the microwave and warm it up that way. Also, does anyone know the trick about scrambled eggs in a microwave?
What?
Kind of weird. I will admit they don't taste as good as when you do it in the pan, but if you're in a really tight crunch, crack it into a cup, like a microwave-proof cup, swirl it with your fork, and you can zap it for like a minute, maybe a minute and a half, depending on the microwave, and it literally scrambles the eggs for you. So that is like super fast. Yeah. Yeah. Another thing with eggs, if you want to do eggs in batch cooking, hard-boiled eggs. If you like hard-boiled eggs, I like to take a muffin tin that has 6 or 12 muffin slots, put an egg in all of them or some of them, preheat your oven to 350 and bake them for 30 minutes. That seems long, but 30 minutes, the key is you just pull them out when the timer buzzes and run them under cold water, or even put them in a bucket with cold water and ice so they stop cooking at that point. And then after that, when they cool, pop them in your fridge and you've got hard-boiled eggs to grab for a snack, to put with breakfast on the go, whatever. Even to toss into a smoothie. I mean, I've been known to put a lot into smoothies. So, yeah. So just some ideas to think about. And I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah, pasta's gonna be done in about 2 minutes, so.
Cool.
Do you have any other smoothie recipes that you like kind of standard go-tos? You mentioned the spinach and banana and berries.
Yeah, I always defer to fruit of choice, and my fruit of choice always has at least one banana with whatever fruit you like, and some type of green. So that can be Swiss chard, that can be kale, that can be spinach, that can be, whatever else. So that's usually the route I go in terms of adding the vegetables and the fruit, and then add your beans or something to it. But I can definitely, if you're looking for, some people really like banana and peanut butter. Like if you put a banana and a peanut butter in with it too, that gives it a little different
I love
taste.
banana and celery.
Yeah,
so
you like banana and celery?
I put a lot of berries in mine, and sometimes I don't even I won't put a green like this in. I'll buy the powder, the condensed powder. That's super greens, they call it, I think, or something like that. So I'll put that in there if I don't want to grind up a whole thing of kale, which is a little tough to grind up sometimes.
Yeah, I will say the kale and stuff tends to get a little chunkier sometimes, so the powder is an easy way to blend it. Yeah.
So you do that in a food processor?
Yes. And I don't know, do you guys have toaster ovens?
Yes.
I would say a toaster oven is another incredible thing. You can do this chicken in a toaster oven, and you can do fish, same thing like Mike just did for the chicken, a fillet of fish, season it up, put it in your toaster oven, and a couple minutes, and you got great fish to put on top of a salad, to eat plain, to incorporate into a taco. It's a great way to use toaster oven, especially if you're cooking for one and you're not cooking in big batches.
If you want to go upstairs to the grill, I do a lot of grilling. It's the same thing. You just plop it down. You don't even need a piece of chicken like that on the grill. Probably 7 minutes per side. It's even faster. Fish, you just put in foil, put lemon on it, your seasonings on it, wrap it up. 5 minutes per side, you're done with the fish. It's very, very simple.
Well, so I wanted to kind of give you guys a taste of different things, and I thought I would let you try these to see what you think as this as it relates to or compares to other alternatives. Obviously, Mike's got the food the pasta that's going to be ready. So go ahead and take some and pass them around. Benitos, yes. And I mentioned, I touched upon guacamole as a good source of omega-3 fats. So your body needs essential fats to produce your hormones, which are necessary, again, to find balance and to have a balance of hormones. You need to have the essential fatty acids, which is good. So we tend to think of don't eat fat, but really the key is to eat high quality, good fat. You're right.
You can get those fats from nuts, right?
I was just going to say another great source is nuts and seeds.
You have to be eating nuts and seeds.
Yes. Nuts, seeds, almonds, chia seeds. That's another thing I throw into my smoothies sometimes. Buy a thing of chia seeds and throw them in there. So there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of ways to get the building blocks that are going to work well inside of your body. So just kind of experiment and find what I would suggest for you is maybe to think of, okay, I'm going to try 1 or 2 meals first and kind of get a comfort level with figuring out what ingredients you need to buy. So make yourself a list when you go to the grocery store, write it down, get practice making it, and then all of a sudden once you do it once or twice, you're like, oh, that's easy. A piece of cake, you don't even have to think about it. Next time you're at the grocery store, you already just automatically know what you're buying, right? So start with 1 or 2 and then take it from there. Yeah, cool. They're not bad, right? Yeah.
Where'd you get those?
I got those at Mariano's. I think there's a Mariano's not too far from here. They usually sell them, and other I know Whole Foods sells them. Other
I don't know if Jewel sells. Jewel sells some of them. I don't know if they sell the natural flavored ones. But there's chipotle flavored, there's plain.
Someone likes them.
Does anybody want to try some of the beef soup? No.
There's beet soup. There's pasta here.